Some stories are so dark, so disturbing, you have to look. This is one of those stories. It's about how one of Canada's most infamous monsters, Robert Pickton, met a violent end, not at the hands of the law, but inside the very prison that was supposed to hold him.
To really get a handle on the shock of how his life ended, you first have to understand the man himself. And honestly, there's no better place to start than with his own chilling words, spoken to an undercover cop who he thought was his cellmate.
But it's this detail. This is the thing that makes your stomach turn. The fact that he fed their remains to his pigs. You see, this wasn't just murder. It was a level of depravity that it horrified an entire country. So yeah, before he made headlines for dying, Robert Pickton was known for one thing: the sheer, almost factory-like scale of his cruelty. Let's just look at the numbers for a second, because they really tell the story.
Okay, so first up is the number 6. This is the official number. 6 counts of second-degree murder. That's what the courts convicted him of back in 2007. And that's what got him a life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years.
But here's where the story gets so much bigger and so much darker. 33. That's how many women's DNA, their actual remains, were found on that disgusting pig farm of his. 33 lives that we know ended in that one horrific place.
And then there's this number, 49. That's the one he bragged about, the one he told that undercover cop. So you've got these 3 numbers, 6 convictions, 33 victims found, and his own claim of 49. That gap, it's terrifying, right? It just tells you we'll probably never ever know the real number. His whole MO back in the late 90s and early 2000s, it was horrifically consistent. He preyed on the most vulnerable women he could find, mostly from Vancouver's downtown east side, and lured them to his farm. And the aftermath was so unthinkable that health officials actually had to put out a public warning about tainted pork to anyone who might have bought it from him. I mean, can you even imagine?
For years, that was pretty much it. The story was over. A monster caught, locked away forever. But then, in May of 2024, the whole story just flips on its head. In a strange twist of fate, the ultimate hunter, well, let's just say the tables turned.
And that really is the question here, isn't it? For a guy who was responsible for so much death, how did his own life come to such a brutal end? And inside a maximum security prison, no less.
And this right here, this sums up the unbelievable irony of it all. Out on his farm, he was the predator, hunting the most vulnerable people. But, locked up inside Quebec's Port Cartier prison, the roles were completely, violently reversed. He became the prey.
So what exactly happened? The story of his death is, well, it's brutally simple, but it also points to some massive systemic failures. Let's just walk through the facts of the attack itself.
The weapon itself, it wasn't some elaborate plot. It was crude. It was brutal. It was a broken broomstick handle. Another inmate just snapped it off and used it to assault Pickton.
And it all went down pretty fast. The attack happens on May 19th. Pickton, who was 74 by then, actually holds on for 12 days before he dies in the hospital on May 31st. And then, a little over a month later, on July 3rd, his fellow inmate, Martin Charest, is officially charged with first-degree murder.
So this attack, it did more than just killed Robert Pickton. It blew the doors open on the prison system itself, and it raised some really tough questions, not just for the inmate who did it, but for the entire institution.
I mean, just look at this. The irony is incredible. You have Robert Pickton, a man who spent his life as a predator, now officially listed as the victim. And on the other side, you have Martin Charest, who was in for a relatively minor crime, uttering threats. Now, he's the one accused of first-degree murder. It's just a wild turn of events.
So, of course, there was an investigation. And what did the Canadian authorities find? Well, they found that security at the prison was, to put it mildly, not good enough. The big screw-up? Inmate access to cleaning supplies wasn't properly controlled. An everyday item became a deadly weapon. And their response? To start a project to secure the doors on the cleaners' closets. It's basically them saying, yeah, we messed up, and this is how it happened.
So when you put it all together, the killer, the victim, the weapon, the system's failure, it leaves you with this really difficult question. What do you even call this? What happened here? And the answer? it isn't simple.
And that's really the question I want to leave you with. When a monster, a guy who caused this unbelievable amount of pain, is himself killed behind bars, not by the state, but by another inmate, because the system failed, what are we really looking at? Is that a form of rough justice? Is it simple revenge? Or is it just more brutal violence compounding one tragedy with another? It's a tough one, for sure.